You drink, but the river within you remains sluggish. You move, but your body feels heavy, as if the very currents of life are thick with silt. What if the clear, pure water you believe is hydrating you is actually creating a silent drought in the most vital channels of your being? Most will hear the name of a mineral and think it is a simple supplement. 99% will miss the final unifying principle of the inner river, and without it, they will simply be adding a drop of rain to a stagnant pond, never truly learning to make the waters flow. The empty riverbed. Before we can speak of what to add, we must first understand the profound illusion we are living under. We have been taught a simple story: water hydrates. Therefore, pure water is the best hydration. This is a dangerous half-truth. It is like saying that to build a house you only need bricks. It ignores the mortar, the frame, the very foundation. Your body is not a simple container to be filled with water. It is a vast and intricate network of rivers, streams, and tributaries, your circulatory system. And the purpose of this river is not just to be full, but to flow. It is the flow that carries life, the oxygen, the nutrients, the healing compounds. It is the flow that carries away the waste, the metabolic debris, the silt that can clog the channels. After the age of 50, the health of this inner river becomes paramount. The banks can become stiff, the channels can become narrow, and the water itself can become thick and slow-moving. We feel this as fatigue, as cold hands and feet, as a mind that is foggy and slow, as muscles that ache and take longer to recover. We think this is simply aging, but much of it is a slow, creeping stagnation of our inner river. Now consider what happens when you pour large amounts of plain, filtered, pure water into this system. This water is empty. It has been stripped of the very minerals that give water its life, its electrical charge, its ability to interact with our biology. This empty water enters the bloodstream, and through the process of osmosis, it can actually pull vital minerals out of your cells and tissues to achieve balance. You are drinking to hydrate, but you are inadvertently diluting the very life force of your inner river. You are making the water less alive, less capable of performing its sacred task of transport and communication. The riverbed may be full, but the water itself is becoming a dead sea. The first and most important lesson is to stop seeing hydration as a matter of volume and to start seeing it as a matter of quality, of life force, of flow. We must learn to remineralize our water, to turn the empty riverbed back into a living, flowing river. The master regulator, the health and flow of your inner river are governed by a delicate and beautiful dance of many factors. But there is one master regulator, one quiet conductor of the entire circulatory symphony that is so crucial, yet so often overlooked. This is a single magical molecule called nitric oxide. This is not the laughing gas from the dentist's office. This is a signaling molecule, a gasotransmitter that your own body produces. And its primary, most profound job is to tell the muscles in the walls of your blood vessels to relax. Imagine your arteries and veins not as rigid pipes, but as flexible, muscular hoses. When nitric oxide is present, it signals these muscular walls to relax and open up. The hose widens. This is called vasodilation. When the vessel widens, two miraculous things happen. First, the pressure within the system drops. This is the very foundation of healthy blood pressure. Second, the flow of blood through that vessel increases dramatically. It is like opening a dam. A surge of life-giving blood, rich with oxygen and nutrients, can now rush to every corner of your inner kingdom, from the deepest roots of your brain to the furthest tips of your toes. As we age, our body's natural ability to produce nitric oxide declines. This is one of the fundamental mechanisms behind the stiffening of the arteries, the rise in blood pressure, and the decrease in circulation that we have come to associate with aging. The master regulator is becoming quiet. The conductor is slowly putting down his baton. The result is a slow, creeping stagnation. The river is becoming a swamp. The exciting and liberating truth is that we are not helpless victims of this decline. We can provide our bodies with the specific raw materials it needs to rebuild its nitric oxide production. We can consciously and intentionally signal to the conductor that it is time to pick up the baton and lead the symphony once again. The mineral we are seeking is not a mineral in the classical sense, but it is the key that unlocks this entire process. It is the precursor, the foundational building block from which the magic of nitric oxide is born, the amino key. The key, the specific substance that we must add, is a simple amino acid called L-arginine. But to be even more precise and to use the most intelligent and effective form of this key, we will use its close cousin, L-citrulline. Let me explain this beautiful piece of natural alchemy. L-arginine is the direct precursor to nitric oxide. Your body uses an enzyme to convert L-arginine into nitric oxide. So you might think, why not just supplement with L-arginine? You can, but it is not the most efficient path. Much of the L-arginine you consume is broken down in the liver before it even has a chance to be used for nitric oxide production. This is where the wisdom of L-citrulline comes in. L-citrulline is another amino acid. When you consume it, it bypasses the liver and travels freely through the bloodstream to the kidneys. In the kidneys, it is converted into L-arginine. This process essentially creates a slow, steady, time-released production of the very L-arginine that your blood vessels need to create nitric oxide. To supplement with L-citrulline is to create a perfect, internal, slow-release nitric oxide boosting system. You are not just dumping the precursor into the body, you are setting up an intelligent, sustained manufacturing process. When you provide your body with this amino key, you are directly addressing the root cause of circulatory stagnation. You are giving your body the precise raw material it needs to tell its own blood vessels to open, to relax, to allow the river of life to flow. This is not a drug that forces a reaction. It is a nutrient that supports a natural, innate process. You are not hijacking the system, you are simply reminding it of its own profound healing wisdom. The practice is simple. L-citrulline can be found as a pure powder. It has a neutral, slightly sour taste that is easily masked. The insane blood flow is not a frantic, jarring rush. It is a quiet, deep, and pervasive feeling of warmth and vitality. It is the feeling of a parched garden finally receiving a deep, nourishing irrigation. It is the feeling of every cell in your body breathing a sigh of relief as it is bathed in a fresh, rich supply of oxygenated blood. This is the foundation. This is the act of opening the channels, the flow of life. When you begin to consistently support your body's nitric oxide production with this amino key, a cascade of profound and beautiful changes begins to unfold. This is the experience of the flow of life returning to your temple. It is a holistic transformation that touches every aspect of your being. The first and most obvious change is in your physical energy and stamina. Your muscles are incredibly hungry for oxygen. It is the fuel they use to create energy. When your blood vessels are open and the flow is strong, you are able to deliver a much richer supply of oxygen to your working muscles. This means you can walk further with less fatigue, you can climb the stairs with more ease, your recovery after exercise is faster, with less soreness. You are not necessarily stronger in the brute sense, but you have a deeper, more enduring well of physical vitality to draw from. The feeling of heaviness in your limbs begins to be replaced by a feeling of lightness and readiness. The second change happens in the quiet sanctuary of your mind. Your brain is the most oxygen-dependent organ in your body. Even a slight reduction in blood flow to the brain can lead to the brain fog, the slow thinking, the difficulty with memory that so many people experience as they age. By enhancing nitric oxide production, you are opening up the delicate capillaries that feed your brain cells. You are increasing cerebral blood flow. The fog begins to lift. Thoughts become clearer, sharper, memory recall can improve. You feel more mentally alert, more present, more engaged with the world. You are not just nourishing your muscles, you are nourishing your very consciousness. The third change is a profound one for cardiovascular health. The relaxation of the blood vessels leads to a natural and healthy regulation of blood pressure. The smooth, easy flow of blood reduces the strain on your heart. The heart does not have to pump as hard to push the blood through narrow, stiff pipes. You are transforming your inner plumbing from a high-pressure, high-stress system to a low-pressure, high-flow system of beautiful efficiency. This is the very definition of a healthy and youthful cardiovascular system. And there are other, more subtle benefits. The increased flow of blood to the skin can improve your complexion, giving you a healthier, more vibrant glow. The delivery of immune cells throughout the body becomes more efficient, supporting a strong and responsive immune system. Every single part of your inner garden benefits when the rivers are flowing freely. This is the profound power of addressing the root rather than just chasing the symptoms. You are not just fixing a problem, you are elevating the function of the entire system. The synergistic brew. Now we come to the art of the practice. To simply add L-citrulline to your empty water is a good step, but to unlock its full potential, we must create a synergistic brew. We must combine the amino key with other allies that support and amplify its effects, creating a true elixir for your inner river. This is about creating a symphony, not just playing a single note. Our brew begins with a base of clean, filtered water. To this, we add our dose of L-citrulline powder. A good starting point for many is around 3 to 5 grams per day. This is our primary activator of flow. Next, we must add the sparks, the mineral electrolytes that give the water its life and its electrical conductivity. As we discussed, plain water can dilute our inner ocean. We must add back a pinch of high-quality, unrefined sea salt for sodium and trace minerals, and a small amount of a potassium source, like cream of tartar or coconut water powder. This ensures that the water we are drinking is a true hydration fluid, one that can be effectively used by our cells and that supports the electrical signaling necessary for all life. Now we add the protectors of the river banks. The walls of our blood vessels must be protected from the rust of oxidative stress. We can add a source of powerful, water-soluble antioxidants. A simple and wonderful choice is a squeeze of fresh lemon juice. Lemon is rich in vitamin C and bioflavonoids, which are essential for the health and integrity of your collagen, the very substance that your blood vessels are made of. They are the master craftsmen who repair the riverbanks. Another powerful protector is the deep red jewel, the beetroot. Beets are rich in natural dietary nitrates. Your body has a second parallel pathway for creating nitric oxide, and that pathway uses these nitrates from vegetables. When you consume beets, either as a juice, a powder, or the whole root, you are providing a secondary source of raw material for nitric oxide production, working in beautiful synergy with the L-citrulline pathway. A small amount of beetroot powder can be easily added to our brew. Finally, we can add a warming, stimulating spice to encourage the flow, like a pinch of cayenne pepper. Cayenne contains capsaicin, which has its own vasodilating effects and helps to stimulate circulation from the core to the extremities. It is the gentle current that helps the river move. This synergistic brew, water, L-citrulline, mineral salts, lemon, beetroot, and a pinch of cayenne is a profoundly intelligent and holistic formula. It is a daily ritual, a sacred act of tending to your inner river. You are not just taking a supplement, you are creating a medicine. You are consciously combining the elements needed to open the channels, to enliven the water, to protect the banks, and to encourage the flow. The unifying principle. We have explored the science, the ingredients, the recipe, but the deepest and most important part of this teaching is not a substance you can add to your water. It is a principle you must cultivate in your consciousness. This is the unifying principle of the inner river. It is a fundamental shift in how you perceive your own body and your own health. It is the understanding that your body is not a solid, static object, but a dynamic, flowing system, and the quality of this flow is the quality of your life. This principle has three core tenets. The first is flow over form. We are a culture obsessed with form, the shape of our muscles, the number on the scale, the lines on our face, but these are all secondary. They are the external manifestation of the inner flow. A body with a vibrant, unimpeded inner flow will naturally express itself as a healthy, vital form. A body that is stagnant and congested, no matter how much you try to manipulate its external form, will always be a body in a state of dis-ease. The wise steward of the temple does not obsess over the color of the paint on the walls. They ensure that the plumbing and the electricity are working perfectly. Your first priority must always be to tend to the flow. The second tenet is nourishment is transport. The most nutrient-dense food in the world is useless if it cannot be delivered to the cells that need it. The most powerful herbal medicine is impotent if it cannot reach its target tissue. The flow of your inner river is the delivery system for all nourishment, for all healing. To support your circulation is to amplify the benefit of every other healthy choice you make. It is the foundational practice that makes everything else work better. When you drink this synergistic brew, you are not just supporting your circulation, you are upgrading your entire nutritional operating system. The third and most important tenet is life is movement. On a cosmic level and on a cellular level, stagnation is death. Flow is life. This applies to your physical body, but it also applies to your mind, your emotions, and your spirit. A stagnant mind is one that is stuck in rigid patterns of thinking. A stagnant emotional body is one that is holding on to old grief and resentment. The physical act of restoring the flow in your inner river can be a powerful catalyst for restoring the flow in all these other areas of your life. As the blood moves, as the energy moves, the old stuck patterns can begin to loosen their grip. You are not just opening your arteries, you are opening yourself to a more fluid, more adaptable, and more vibrant way of being. To embrace this principle of the inner river is to embark on a journey of profound reanimation. It is a daily practice of choosing flow over stagnation, of choosing movement over stillness, of choosing life in all its dynamic, beautiful, and ever-changing glory. The brew in your glass is not just a drink, it is a symbol. It is a daily conscious commitment to the sacred, flowing river of your own being. Which aspect of this flow of life, the physical energy, the mental clarity, or the cardiovascular health, feels like the most urgent and needed gift for your own inner river right now?